Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Breaking Language Barriers. I'm David, and today we're discussing a question many language learners ask. Is it possible to learn English on your own online?
Hi, listeners. I'm Sarah. And let me start by answering that question with the resounding yes. Self-learning English online is not only possible, but potentially very effective when approached with the right mindset and resources.
That's right, Sarah. The internet has revolutionized language learning. What once required expensive classes or relocation to an English-speaking country can now be accomplished from anywhere with an internet connection.
Absolutely. Let's break down why self-learning can work so well. First, it offers incredible flexibility. You can study at your own pace, on your own schedule, and focus on areas that you personally need to improve.
And it's usually much more cost-effective than formal education. While some premium resources do cost money, there are countless high-quality free options available online.
That's true. However, self-learning does require discipline and commitment. Without a teacher or classmates holding you accountable, you need to stay motivated and consistent with your practice.
Let's talk about what effective self-learning looks like. One of the keys is having a clear plan. Rather than just saying, I want to learn English, successful learners set specific, measurable goals.
Like learning 10 new words daily, practicing speaking for 15 minutes, or reading an article in English every week. These smaller goals make the process less overwhelming and give you a sense of achievement.
Exactly. And another crucial aspect is creating a daily routine. Even 15 to 20 minutes of consistent daily practice is more effective than several hours once a week.
Now let's get to the exciting part, the resources available online. David, what would you recommend as essential tools for someone starting their self-learning journey?
Great question. I'd begin with comprehensive learning platforms. Apps like Babbel and Rocket English offer structured courses with lessons that build on each other systematically. Duolingo is another popular free option for beginners.
Those are great starting points. For those focused on improving their listening and speaking skills, I'd recommend podcasts like English Class 101 or immersive video platforms like Yabla, which features videos with interactive subtitles.
And don't forget about pronunciation-specific tools like Elsa Speak or Speechling. These use AI technology to give feedback on your pronunciation, which is normally hard to get when learning independently.
For reading practice, LinkU and Bilingua are fantastic. They allow you to read text with translation support and often include audio so you can listen while reading.
One resource I think is invaluable is the British Council's Learn English website. It's completely free and offers materials for all levels. Grammar explanations, vocabulary exercises, listening activities, and even preparation for English proficiency exams.
Absolutely. And for learners who want more structure, there are free courses from reputable institutions like the BBC and platforms like edX or Coursera, which offer university-level English courses.
You know what's often overlooked but incredibly valuable? YouTube. There are countless channels dedicated to English learning, covering everything from grammar rules to slang and cultural nuances.
Great point. And speaking of practice, finding opportunities to actually use the language is crucial. Language exchange platforms like Tandem or HelloTalk connect you with native English speakers who want to learn your language.
And if you're willing to invest a little, websites like italki or Preply can connect you with affordable tutors for one-on-one conversation practice or writing feedback.
Now, let's talk about some effective strategies for self-learning. I think one of the most powerful approaches is immersion, surrounding yourself with English as much as possible.
Definitely. Change your phone's language settings to English. Watch English movies with subtitles. Listen to English music and try to understand the lyrics. Make English a part of your everyday life.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're a natural and necessary part of learning. Many self-learners get stuck because they're afraid of using the language imperfectly.
That's such an important point, Sarah. Let's also address some common challenges people face. For instance, staying motivated can be difficult when learning alone. Any tips on that?
Yes, I suggest telling someone about your goals. Being accountable to others increases your likelihood of following through. You could also join online communities of English learners for mutual support.
Another challenge is knowing if you're making progress. Without a teacher to give feedback, it can sometimes feel like you're not improving.
That's why I recommend recording yourself speaking regularly or taking periodic online assessment tests. When you compare your current level to where you were a few months ago, you'll often be surprised by your progress.
Let's share some success stories. There are countless examples of people who've mastered English entirely through self-study online.
Absolutely. I know a software developer who learned English purely through watching American TV shows with subtitles, using vocabulary apps, and practicing with language exchange partners online. Within 2 years, he was confident enough to apply for jobs at international companies.
And I have a friend who started with just Duolingo 15 minutes daily, then gradually added podcasts and online articles to her routine. She eventually became fluent enough to study abroad without ever taking a formal class.
These stories highlight something important. Successful self-learners usually combine multiple resources and methods rather than relying on just one app or website.
Very true. And they adapt their approach as they progress. What works for a beginner might not be as effective for an intermediate learner.
Let's also compare self-learning to formal education. While traditional classes offer structured progression and immediate feedback, self-learning gives you flexibility and allows you to focus on your specific needs and interests.
Exactly. In a classroom, you might be held back by the pace of other students or rush through topics you find challenging. When learning independently, you can spend as much time as needed on difficult concepts.
One advantage of formal education is the social aspect, practicing with classmates and getting guidance from teachers. But online language communities and virtual tutoring can provide similar benefits for self-learners.
And let's not forget about metacognitive benefits. Self-learning requires you to think about your own learning process, evaluating what you know, what you need to learn, and how to learn it, which actually enhances language acquisition.
That's a fantastic point. As we start to wrap up, I'd like to offer some final advice for anyone embarking on a self-learning English journey.
First, be patient with yourself. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency matters more than intensity.
Second, make it enjoyable. Choose content that aligns with your interests. If you love cooking, follow English recipe videos. If you're into sports, watch game highlights with English commentary.
And finally, measure your progress not by how perfect your English is, but by what you can do now that you couldn't do before. Each small win is worth celebrating.
So, to answer our original question once more, yes, it's absolutely possible to learn English on your own online. With the right resources, strategies, and mindset, you can achieve impressive results.
Thanks for joining us today, listeners. We hope this episode has inspired you to start or continue your self-learning English journey. Remember, the most important step is simply to begin.
And keep showing up day after day. Before you know it, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Until next time, happy learning.
This has been Breaking Language Barriers. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah. Thanks for listening and see you in our next episode.